Welcome back, Perfect Peeps, to Perfect.dev. Today we're talking about creating opportunities with Girl Develop It. And we have a special guest, Katie Franco. Hey, Katie.
Hi, how are you guys?
Welcome. We're great. How are
Thanks.
you?
Great. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about Girl Develop It and how you got involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're a nonprofit organization. We're about 11 years old. We were founded by two women who were in New York City in 2010 as software engineers and kept finding that they were the only two women in many of the events and classes that they were attending, and were frustrated by this and started kind of pondering through why that might be, and developed an opportunity to start offering classes and events that were designed to be more inclusive. And that's how Girl Develop It was born. Our mission is true to that still today, which we're just working to provide welcoming and accessible opportunities for women and non-binary adults to learn software development. So we do everything from teaching, intro to HTML and basic web design 101, but also do quite a bit of data science courses. We do a lot of JavaScript. We do a lot of Java, and sort of everything in between. And so we started off being very in-person and live. That was a big part of our model, that we would be there and you could ask questions and we'd code with you and have TAs. When 2020 hit, we shifted virtual, and I could tell you more about that fun adventure. But we actually think it's been pretty great for us. Interesting part about my background is that I actually joined in February of 2020.
All right, Katie, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into this Girl Develop It organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. So, my background's not in tech, so it's been an interesting adventure for me. My background's actually a nonprofit. I've done everything from environmental outreach to working with folks with disabilities, but also a lot of the thread that kind of led me here was workforce and creating opportunities, whether that was new programs in a community or helping organizations hire people with disabilities. Sort of this kind of thread led me to the opportunity to really think about what opportunities do women and non-binary folks have in this world. And I have a funny story. It's kind of embarrassing, but when I'm at that age where I came out of college right before the internet was created. And when I first went to college, I grew up in New York and I came up to college in Vermont. And I remember sitting and going, gosh, why is there such a big building here for trains? Why do they need all these train engineers? I don't understand. But I really had no concept growing up and never was exposed to what engineering was or software development or any of that, and sort of missed that bubble. But throughout my career, I've always been adjacent or kind of, I know enough HTML. I could do that web design. I could do that project. So it's been really fun to be here now and hear a lot of the people that we work with in our community have very similar stories. They just never had that opportunity and have found it as this really amazing career.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really impressive. That's cool to find your path and know where you want to go.
Yeah.
So as far as back to the Girl Develop It side of it, how do individuals usually get more involved, especially virtually now that things have shifted? What's the first is there an event you first attend, or is it a meetup? How's that go?
Yeah, that's funny. We were very, very active on Meetup. Actually, Meetup kind of created some of their products for Girl Develop It over the last decade because we had such a large amassing different organizations in different communities. Now that we're virtual, one of the things that's been really nice is that everything's open to everybody. So before we went virtual, you had to be in downtown Chicago at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday to get one of our classes, and you kind of also had that additional barrier, which was, someone like me who doesn't have a tech background. I would really be intimidated walking into a room to learn HTML in person and feeling like I wasn't sure I was going to do it. So virtual has really broken down some really unique barriers for us that we really didn't even know existed. I tease the board. One of the things they asked me to do when they hired me was I had to solve childcare issues, that we were having these issues in our live classes that we're offering class. How do we have a childcare? How do we figure that out? Well, you know what? Virtual sort of solved that problem for us. People can be on a class while their child's sleeping in another room, and it really changed that game. So, I think what a lot of folks do is we offer a lot of intro level classes. I call them our welcome at classes. So, for example, we just did last Saturday an intro to Python. It's very basic. What is Python? What does it do? How was it created? How is it named after Mighty Python? We really start at the very basics, and we really let these be. We do And these are our most popular classes. We've done last year intro to JavaScript, intro to HTML, intro to Java. And they're very like, just come and see. Do you like this? Is this where you want to be? And then we go into the next level classes. And from there, and so folks decide. So usually we'll have like 100 people in an intro class, and then 20 on the next one, 10 on the next one. We kind of like whittle it down.
And are these self-paced as well as like live classes?
You know, we continue when we went virtual, we took our live model and put it on Zoom. I say we kind of plopped it on Zoom.
Sure.
To be totally honest and transparent, we're working on developing that. We are going to add some self-paced learning into this, but right now they're all live. They're taught by a live instructor, live TAs, which we think has been very helpful for us. It has some operational challenges and it still limits a little accessibility, like you have to be available on Saturday at 1 p.m. But it's allowing, like I just had a conversation with a new member who said, gosh, I actually could ask 3 questions. You know, I got stuck somewhere and I was on one of these like recorded classes and I just gave up and I turned it off. Here, I actually got to ask that question and then figure it out. So there's something about our model that we're going to keep genuine to that, but we would like to complement it with opportunities to continue to learn on your own, especially if we're not going to offer a class for a while, or, you know, there's some next level that we're not offering.
That is nice that it's like a workshop style where you can ask questions and interact with the instructor. You could also maybe just record them and then place like previous ones on there. But how would you go about signing up like for that? And how do you get into those workshops or classes?
Yep. We list all of our classes on our website. So our website, everything that we offer is currently available, just girldevelopit.com. We have an events page, and pretty much anything we're up for the next 3 months is on there. And people can sign up. And again, the classes, we offer a bunch of free classes. We offer pay-as-you-go classes where folks can very simply take one class for $40. And then we offer memberships where folks are going to take more than one class. We encourage them to do a monthly membership or a one-time fee, and then they could take all the classes they want for free. But we really do the best we can to try to keep these classes affordable. We do charge because we pay our instructors. It's a big part of our mission and our model to pay women and non-binary folks for their work. We want to make sure that we're continuing to build that ecosystem by making sure we're helping people get jobs.
So do you offer scholarships or anything for people that can't afford it, or what other things do you offer to help people out?
Yes, we do. We have a scholarship program. We have an application on our website, and we're pretty generous with it. We raise money every year with our goal to be able to have 100 free scholarships. So 100 scholarships to give folks free access to all of our classes. I think that, you know, one of the things we're doing this year is we're adding a little element to that where we're going to ask our scholars to start becoming TAs, sort of have this commitment to kind of keep the community growing. So once you take the class of JavaScript, come back and TA it for the next person. And a TAing in the Zoom world looks like, come over to the Zoom room with me and work on that. So it's kind of a fun new dynamic. But yeah, I mean, so we do have a pretty robust scholarship program. And then again, we do try to have a lot of these free intro welcome mat classes to make sure folks are being able to have opportunities.
Awesome.
That's really cool. When people are kind of starting out learning in the course, do they often transition as they progress to become a teacher? Is that like a rare thing?
No, it's very common in our world. Actually, I would say most of our current instructors were students. Even the person who does all of our training, director, the person who kind of onboards our instructors and works with our curriculum, she started her entire software engineering career by going to GDI classes. So it's kind of this fun model too, where it helps kind of continue to build that community. And also people can relate really easily to folks. You know, we really try, like we even have this amazing career coach who does work with us, but she's a woman with a 30-year career in tech. So we kind of make sure that everyone kind of has that basis and has gone through that.
That's really cool.
Fantastic. What are some of the other opportunities that GDI offers for the students? Are there like blog posts or other tutorials or things that they help them with in the real world, like career planning?
Yeah. Well, when we started in 2020, when we knew that our community was being hit so hard, and we had so many of our students reaching out to us saying, gosh, I lost my job, I don't know what to do next. We really started looking at adding some level of career. We call it career conversations. It's a group of classes that we're offering So for example, this past week, we did a partnership, actually just yesterday, it's pretty fresh in my brain, with a corporation who did a day of volunteering, and they had their entire HR team volunteer. So they had 18 volunteers, and they matched one-on-one with GDI members to do LinkedIn profile. We called it LinkedIn profile boot camps. But I mean, it was so helpful. I mean, how many times do you have someone from HR who hiring managers looking at your LinkedIn profile saying, wait a minute, you did what? Say that, put that in the headline, pull that out. So they spend about 30 minutes in one-on-one sessions, really helping folks up their LinkedIn profiles.
Wow.
So we've done a few events like that. We've done interview prep. We've had guest speakers who come on. We do a monthly series called Meet the Hiring Manager, where we do like speed networking or speed dating. And it's really a chance for our members to do informational interviews, to learn about different companies, to kind of broaden kind of what they even are thinking about when they think about a career in tech. So we've had healthcare companies, business service companies on there. And it's fun. And then a lot of times folks end up with interviews afterwards. We don't commit to that going in, but it's that natural, like 5-minute connection. Like, oh, wait a minute, we need to talk. I'm hiring someone in that role. So those have been really fun. And we continue to build those. We do blog posts. We have a Slack community that's becoming more and more active. And then we do events like hackathon we just held that really was a chance to not just, we love teaching, but we want to make sure that we're continuing to build that confidence. And when we end up having 86 folks go all the way through the hackathon and end up in 17 teams present, and 86% of them were brand new, had never done a hackathon before. So like that push, that like, okay, now you know it, we know you know it, let's do it, let's build it, was pretty awesome. And it was just so much fun to kind of be part of that. So we're really trying to kind of do this, you know, what do you need professionally? What do you need personally? How do we make that all match?
What made that hackathon kind of come together? What did you notice that like the people needed experience, like actually building things?
Yeah, you know, it's such a good question because I was really nervous about doing it because it just in the virtual space, it just didn't seem like, how are we going to make connections and that like magic in a hackathon room where people are sitting down and like brainstorming. But that was a big driver, exactly what you just said, is that we were hearing from the employers that we partnered with that what mattered more than anything else was what your work, right? So they would tell us time and time again, I don't care that you don't have a college degree in computer science. I don't even care you don't have a college degree. I don't even care that you just learned HTML 3 days ago. Can you do the work? Can you show me your projects? And our members were saying, how do I do a project? You know, I've learned all this stuff. So we sort of pulled that together into let's take the risk and do the virtual hackathon and try to help. And the biggest push was that the projects needed, you had to present something that was, you know, not just not just some slides, like you had to actually code something to be in the final. And so we had 17 teams who coded something and put something on a GitHub that people were accountable for. And people loved it. They were putting their work on LinkedIn and getting a ton of feedback. So just really exciting to see, like, you know, get that push to like, let's now. And then people were like, oh my gosh, I know this. We're like, yes, we know you know this. Let's get your job now.
100%. Like everything about that is what I've been pushing for so long. I'm in this community and we push this philosophy of learn, build, teach. So if you learn it, build something with it, and then try to teach it to others, and you grow so much out of that. Like I got my job because I do that content creation, like learning, building, and teaching. And I feel like that is just so important to drive home to anyone in probably any career, but especially in tech. And so I really love that you did that and are pushing those girls and non-binary to do more.
Yeah. I love how you just said that learn, build, teach. That's pretty awesome. I might need to steal that or trademark it. I'll pay you for that. It's a really good.
It's not mine. It's James Quick came up with it, and he's like, I don't even want my name attached to it, but it's just this philosophy that we kind of go by. I think that it just helps you learn so much more if you will build something with it and then go out and try to teach it. It's just a different mindset, a shift, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. Shout out to our compressed FM kind of partners.
Absolutely.
Friends. So I've been to a few like boot camp or end of boot camp presentations. Do you guys happen to like bring in other businesses to watch that presentation? often it's like a way for others to like get job offers and things like that. Is that something you've done?
Yeah, we definitely did that. We had all of our sponsors be judges, and we even also had some of our partners become mentors. So to dedicate some employees to mentor, to speak, to offer workshops throughout the hackathon, because we really wanted them to see like the work and the mentality, not just the outcome. But it was yeah, I think we had 6 different judges that represented. Some were from different parts of our community, and then some were from our corporate sponsors. But then we do that all year. Like, we have a lot of our corporate partners and either other partners. We partner with some boot camps and have them, like, we're partnering with the Turing School to do some events, partnering with some other initiatives like Reach Higher, who does a cool returnship, and try to, again, like, connect the communities. So like our community, like, knows, like, so many of our members are so new to tech. Sometimes I don't think they even know the next thing or how to connect up. So we're always trying to be like, maybe, we did an opportunity with Grace Hopper, a scholarship opportunity this year, was like, maybe this is your next path, or maybe this is your, like, maybe like we're not your only path. We're just a connector in the universe.
Yeah, it sounds like you partner with like a lot of other organizations and things. Do you reach out to other like nonprofit organizations and partner at all?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's interesting. I had this great conversation with this organization this year, and they were talking about like, oh, I think we're going to run like this Java boot camp. We're doing the curriculum. I'm like, do you just want my curriculum? Like, all of our curriculum's always been open source. Like, don't spend time on that. Here, take this and build it, or, and then let me know what you did. Like, I have this big, like, the pie is pretty big, and I'm not about, like, GDI isn't about here's our slice, or we're like, here's the pie plate. Let's all come and make more of it. Because I think, so often, again, I just talked to somebody the other day, and they were like, I just don't know what to do. Here's what I'm learning. Here's what I know. And some of it I think we can help them with, but some is beyond what we do. So I'm not going to say, well, I don't know. I'm going to connect them to the next person. So say, let's go talk to that boot camp. I think you might be a great opportunity to go there.
That's awesome. I feel like there's a lot of different women and non-binary groups in tech. Like there's React Robins, there's Front End Foxes, there used to be Vue Vixens. I don't know. I think they are the ones that transitioned to Front End Foxes. And then we have Svelte Sirens now that I created. And so like all of these kind of scatter you a little bit, but it's nice to have this one that's just centered on women and non-binary, and maybe like partnering with those would be helpful to these girls to get them like, these are the stacks you might work with if you get a job in the front end world. So that would be awesome.
Yeah, I really would. I mean, I would love to be able to sort of, we have this vision, we have had this conversation with our board about trying to come up with more of like the hub and then the broader marketing conversation about try it, this kind of like, just come in and try a class. Like, I think you're going to surprise yourself. And especially when so many women and non-binary folks have been displaced during the pandemic and now really need to rethink their careers and need high paying, safe, flexible jobs, which is like tech, right? Like, you can do it at home and while your family and all the things that people have gone through. Like, I know, my kids had a quarantine a couple weeks ago and they both were home. I'm still working. I didn't have to, give up my family's income to deal with the ebbs and flows of what we're going to probably be doing for a while now. So I really think this is like, we keep saying like, this is our year. Like, we think 2022 is a big pivot year to stop being like, we're not in tech. We'd be like, we are here. We just need to take that next step.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally agree with that. Tech and being more remote positions and being able to like take care of your kids and take them to the doctor if you need. If they're quarantined, it doesn't matter. Like there's so many great opportunities in tech, and more are moving to remote. And I love that.
Same. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity for anybody, whatever caregiving they're doing or whatever other responsibilities they have in their world. And plus you can do a lot with it, like, I mean, it's not just a one-stop job, but I mean, you could become management, you could become leadership. There's so much you could do with those skill sets that I think it really is, the opportunity is now. And so anyway, anything we could do or any kind of creative ways to kind of work together to combine that would be exciting.
Absolutely. And we've been talking a lot about women and non-binary, and that these groups focus on that, but who can actually attend these events? Is it just women and non-binary, or is this open to the general public?
So we welcome everybody as long as they can abide by our code of conduct. That's our biggest thing, is that, we are creating an environment that's welcoming, it's accessible. We want to make sure through and through that we are taking care of everyone in our community. So as long as people can abide by that code of conduct, and we open every class with this code of conduct conversation, because I mean, you just don't know, right? So as long as you can abide by that, you're welcome into our programs. We don't
That's a
we don't
great
keep anyone out.
idea. I may steal that because we do the same thing with Felt Sirens. We call them allies. As long as you're an ally to those people, and we are gearing towards like women and non-binary, we want to help promote those people in our community, but we don't want to be exclusive to just that. So we want to welcome anyone who is friendly, and starting with the code of conduct. I'm totally stealing that today.
Yeah.
Is it possible? We talk about like in Discord, we call them lurkers. In a AA meeting, you can just go and sit there and never talk. Like when you have been displaced or hurt or like emotionally or physically or whatever it might be, like you're often not the first person to like jump up and engage fully. Is there a method through this that you can kind of just kind of sit and absorb and not have to be like fully interactive until you're ready?
Yeah, there definitely is. And I could probably name 15 of our community members who I see often in our classes. They're showing up, but not, and that's okay. Like, and their learning style may be different. We also do record our classes, but we send them out to people who registered. So we just kind of keep it a little bit closed right now. We're going to work on that. But, I think that is also a tool for a lot of folks to take their time. And occasionally they'll pop up with a question here or there in the chat. But everyone is where they are and they have things going on. Some people have to be on mute because there's background noises in their homes or their Wi-Fi is out and they're on their phone. I mean, all of those things happen in our world, and we support and want all those folks to be with us.
That's great. It's a nice, encouraging like environment to get into. I know at like meetups, I had a hard time with some people that like really once we grew past like 3 people, they're like I don't like being around this many people, and we kind of went virtual before the pandemic and everything, and they were able to join again, like feel comfortable. So I think it's like an important piece to like being able to open and encourage everything. That's cool.
Yeah, and I said before, I mean, I honestly I have been on, probably 3 dozen classes in the past year, or the past month, but I wouldn't have walked into a class 2 years ago of GDI and a meetup in downtown, wherever, I wasn't comfortable. I was really new to it. I knew enough to know what I didn't know. And I didn't think I would have fit the mold even of a women in tech event, and I wouldn't have gone. And I think this has been a big learning for our organization. We were going through some transitions even before the pandemic hit about our accessibility and how we were managing chapters and flow, and learned a lot from some really good feedback from our community. And I think it's a really good takeaway of, the virtual world does allow for a little bit more, sometimes folks just to come in and check it out and not feel that uncomfortable, and allows people to be in different spots.
That's fantastic. I was kind of curious just for, people like listening that have just first kind of heard of Girl Develop It, and they work for some larger companies and things. I know you have like Granger and Code Academy and some others that are big names. How do you go about like getting established partners? Can people reach out to you? Can we provide a link so that they can kind of jump in? What's that look like?
Yeah, definitely would love folks to reach out. We love having these conversations with our partners. And I've had some amazing companies come to us, and, we know what we can do well in engagement level. We're great at marketing. We're good at some really great classes and content sharing. And we're great when it comes to the conversations. We know some of the things that don't work for us in the virtual space to do engagements, but we're really up for being creative and having fun with it. And we've really been lucky to have many partners. So yeah, I always tell folks just to email me directly at katie@girldevelopit.com. We do have a partners and sponsor page on our website. We have some financial sponsors as well as some amazing community sponsors that just kind of share content and resources. But we'd love to continue to grow that community. It's really important to us.
Great.
That is incredible. Why would you say to someone just starting out, or maybe they haven't even started out, why would they want to come to Girl Develop It, sign up, and start?
Yeah.
What would they be?
Well, I just had this conversation with a former colleague the other day who was looking at her next move. And I said, just come to the basic, we have a web 101 class starting up in January. Come and just see what it feels like. Come and spend, if you hate it, just go on mute and walk away from your computer, but just come and see. I think what people will realize, what they don't see about themselves when they're starting to think about a career change into tech or to moving for a passion or a hobby, whatever they're doing in it, is that anyone can learn it. Like there isn't a mountain here that people can't do, right? Like there isn't it is so many. First of all, when we say tech, we mean 75 different things, right? Like, I mean, some people are just like, I mean, I have a friend of mine who's an amazing person on spreadsheets, right? And Excel all for years. There's a pathway in tech right from that spreadsheet. There is, I have friends who are artists and designers, and there's a pathway to tech right there. I mean, there's so many ways to do this. It isn't just sitting there in front of a coding screen all day. This is a huge, diverse community with so many pathways, and they're all in such demand. I mean, we had a great conversation about cybersecurity a couple months ago, and just even that is so diverse, right? I mean, they're talking about needing quality assurance, like that's not even a high tech thing. I mean, it is like a super entry point that people can attain really quickly. I think also people miss, like, we're talking 3-4 weeks of some intensive classes and you're ready to work in that space. So I think it's such an exciting time. Again, I keep being like, it's our time. Not to be like a slogan-y. It's there. I mean, these jobs are there. The careers are fun and flexible. And again, you should try on like 6 hats until you figure out your space in tech, but definitely try on the hat, because I think it definitely fits. And there's definitely a way for everyone to find a spot.
The great part is once you get further in tech, you'll get to wear 5 or 10 of those hats all at one time too. So.
Every day. Once you figure out one thing, then you have to learn the next thing. But
right.
That is one thing I actually love about tech, is that you continue learning. And I mean, depending on what avenue you take, but there's so many different things. There's marketers, there's back-end people who don't even like do this front-end design work. Like you can just find something for pretty much anyone. So I agree. Love it.
I am trying to think of another question as far as like the events, because I feel like this is a hugely important part of what you guys have going on. Is there anything like more to talk about surrounding the events that you have coming up, or is it just continuously check that event page? I don't know. I just want to pitch your events because I feel like that's the best way to get involved.
Yeah, no, it is the best way. I mean, I think the thing that I'll say that's coming for us, just some new stuff that's coming down the pipeline that you'll see, in, spring of 2022 is we're starting to explore. We learned a lot from the hackathon, and we're looking at how to explore that kind of build opportunity to what you said too, Brittany, about how do we continue to have that. So we're looking at some independent opportunities to sort of work directly with a one-on-one teacher to work on a project together. We're looking at mini hackathons or hackathons with a partner. We've had some conversations with some of our corporate partners who've said, I love this thing. What if I could host this and have my team be mentors, and we do it for 2 days, but it's like a project for our company. It's almost like a closer job, almost like an internship/job interview kind of process with some real prize money around it. So there's also that, like, let's start getting work and confidence. So we're going to build out, and we're also going to do some more coaching and mentoring groups. We have one mentoring group starting, and this is just a group of women, any different spots in tech, who come together every night for 7 weeks for one night and talk about how they're feeling and what they're up to, and sort of like the softer side of this work. I think that I think is really important, to let the harder stuff, like, and I say softer and harder, I mean like soft emotional skills versus like the hard technical skills. Not that one's harder than the other, because I think actually the emotional stuff's harder and the technical stuff's easier to learn. But that's just a sidebar. But I think that, offering some more of that opportunity to find your space and your people in this virtual world is really important to us. Like, I think we will have more asynchronous classes going forward, but we always want to keep that live opportunity. So either if we envision a world where we might send you 3 classes and then there's a lab on Thursday, right? So we ask you to take these 3 classes and then come and ask your questions. We always want to make sure there's that place to touch in, to talk to a human. But it's this real interesting combination of loving this virtual space and what it's allowing us to do and the accessibility it's bringing us, but making sure we keep this real personal touch that comes with it.
That's really great. I just wanted to pop up the events page really quick, just to kind of show what we're talking about here. So like the courage to be uniquely you. That's not a like technical course or anything. This is just building up your individual self and like getting you more involved in that sense. But then you see some technical like workshop based things, and again, career catalysts. Like that's just a whole nother shift outside of the technical piece. So I think it's great to like cover all of these events and make sure you're going to them if you're looking to kind of build that side up.
Lots of great things coming in the pipeline, it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, I think unless you have anything last minute, we might shift gears here.
Nope, I'm good.
Brittany, good?
All good.
All right. We're going to do our perfect picks next. And Katie was kind enough to share her first perfect pick. If I can actually get on the screen. Here we go. So tell us about this book that you're recommending.
Yeah, so I have a mild obsession with, I guess what I'm going to call the harder skills of life, which is leaning in and learning about emotions and how we all connect and work and why some things work well and why things sometimes we struggle. So I'm a huge Brene Brown fan. I got a chance to hear her speak live a couple of years ago and have read almost every one of her books. Her new book came out a month ago. And I'm a fangirling to the level of like snapping pictures and posting them on Instagram, kind of dorking out over it. But it's this great work that really pushes us to look at sort of, gosh, we don't just have three emotions, happy, sad, angry. We are these full humans with all of these things. And I think as we come out of the pandemic and we're feeling a lot of these emotions very intently and needing to deal with them in professional context. This work feels really important to me and has really helped guide me a bit. So this is my big fangirl moment.
I'm looking forward to reading that.
So good.
Very cool. Brittany, your first pick.
Yeah, I picked as my first pick the GDI Moving Forward blog post that Katie wrote, and it just goes over their transition to virtual and kind of why that needed to happen and just tells you more about it. And I just wanted everybody to go and check that out and then go to their events page for sure and see all their amazing upcoming events.
Very cool. Your second pick, which is a little more scarier than this.
Oh, yeah, scary. Completely transitioning here. And I took a while to get on the bandwagon on this one because I think this originally came out like 2 years ago before the pandemic even started. The Witcher was on season 1, and my husband was completely obsessed with it and loved it and watched it strangely with my mom when she was here for Christmas, and I missed it somehow. I don't know how that happened, but I rewatched season 1 this week, and then we're recording today when season 2 first launched, and we watched the first episode this morning, and it is just getting better and better, and it is so good.
I want to point out 2 things. This is a massive like fantasy book series. So
it is, and a game.
That's the first part. The second part, which we always like to point out, TVMA, folks. This is
very not kid appropriate.
Cool. My first pick is kind of techie nerdy. I always like to do something like this. This is actually it's called Mosaic, and there's a Palette 3 and a Palette 3 Pro. And if I can find the image down here, okay. So for those who do, yeah. Oh, I thought I heard you, Brittany.
Sorry. No, it was a cool site. This is really cool.
The site's really well put together too. I was going to point that out. Thank you for reminding me. When you actually look at what it's doing in here, if you've ever done 3D printing before, usually you have like one PLA that comes in and it's a single color. With the Pro, you can do 2, 4, 6, 8 different colors, and it splices them so you can come up with amazing, like you see here, a whole mountain of 3D prints. So here it's got a picture of like showing the colors kind of streaming in and it's splicing and all that fun stuff. So it's a really incredible machine. I might have to finally break down and use some much saved Christmas money to purchase this. So that's my technical pick. I saved this one for last just because I've been like so excited for Girl Develop It podcast that Coding Cat has sponsored a single person for the year. So thank you for allowing us to do that. Honestly, I think it's such an amazing program. If you ever like tag a single person with it, I want to see their like adventure through Girl Develop It. So let us know.
Thank you for that. That's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Of
Thank
course.
you for coming on. We want to help support all of these organizations that are out there and do more for the women and non-binary. And I mean, anyone who is an ally, I guess I'll use that again.
Yeah, if there's any tips too, like we're always trying to kind of like get further into, acceptance in tech, and it's super difficult. I look at our podcast percentages, it's like 4% women, 1% non-binary, and that's just if they specify. Same on YouTube. Any tips that you might have, please let us know.
To get more people involved. Yeah.
Well, we'd love to tag you all as a resource on our website and our resource page that we're kind of working on right now, and just make sure that, again, like our community needs to know who are the great podcasters in this space, who are the great bloggers. Like, so we'll definitely make sure that we share your work on our pages as well to make sure that we can help kind of just connect the dots for folks.
Cool. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thanks. Awesome. Well, Katie, thanks so much for coming on the pod, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do in the next year.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Yep. Later.